Razzle Dazzle. It's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you Canary cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye, VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry News Stalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Goms.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype flippy arm.
Don't tell me. Flippy is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
Okay. Let's see here. We're doing it. We're getting the show started, folks. This is the pre-stream. Ever heard of it? That's right. Oh. I can't tell if my waveform. And over on Rumble, we got Bibu Zuzu, Jawanda, Joydar, One Lousy Petunia. We got the power team over on Rumble there. What's up? Equo26 is over on YouTube today. What are you doing, Equo, on YouTube? Get on over to Rumble. What are you doing? Martin's there. Zach Purr. Warrior Chick Jan. Might be Cody. Ellie's over there on YouTube. What's up, everybody? All right, we're going to get the show started here in just a second. Let's see. Let me check my text messages. That's right. You can get the text message alerts straight to your phone. You can do it. I believe in you. Yeah, if you want to make sure to get a notification every time we start the show, you can sign up for text message alerts. Don't worry, we don't sell your information. We don't even take any information. We don't have anything to sell. But if you text the word Canary to 877-740-3226, that's Canary to 877-740-3226, you'll get a text message from me 3 times a week, once before every show starts. Just a good reminder. Sometimes there's some links in there. You know, it's a good time. But the fun part is you can text me back at that number. Now, here's the thing. We cannot carry on a conversation because it's very expensive, this service that we pay for. Thank you, producers. So, you know, we can't chit-chat, but you can send little messages. This is fun. Somebody here sent, dang, I'm fixing to start my first show of the year. And a sad, sort of grumbly face. Okay, that was last week, before last week's show. All right. Are you starting a podcast, or you're starting, oh, this is the first Canary Cry News Talk you've listened to this year. You're late. Yeah, you need to get on the ball. Somebody said, love the shout out to Bazzy in Gonza's email. Heart. Yeah, wasn't that fun? Hey, that's a good pitch for the newsletter. Guys, if you're not on the newsletter list, you're missing out on a lot of great Canary Cry content. Again, we just send it out before every show, so you can not only get all the show notes, get all the links, get all the art, but there's always a little note from me. And last email had a wonderful long note from Gons. That was very touching, all about how I'm his favorite person in the world, and also something about AOD4. I don't know. I didn't read it. But thank you very much for that. Let's see here. Somebody says, what up, guys? Really cool. Can't wait to watch. Carry on. Thank you. Somebody says, little late for the best show ever. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Somebody says, wild robot movie. Question mark, exclamation mark. This wild robot movie. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to have to check it out. Somebody says, love hearing your program. Somebody says, sending an email to Proton for my note. Okay, I should probably check Proton Mail. Thank you. Pizza Rat says, hi, have a good show with no tech difficulties. Jesus' name. Thank you very much, Pizza Rat. See, there you go. Somebody said, did someone say time travel? Let's go. Let's go, folks. Remember, go to canarycry.tube. We are reaching our goal, but we need more monthly signer-uppers over there. So get on the Age of Deceit for focus group at canarycry.tube. Let's get the show started.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is March 11th, 2024. And this is, we are live to tape on episode 722. And today, KONA Blue Barbeque. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil. And you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz.
And Gonz is... there he is.
Yeah. What? What?
Oh no, the lag has started already?
It just started. It was fine 2 seconds ago. All right, let me just keep going.
Yeah.
My name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit films.
Going.
Your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the land of Newscomb to bring the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And I do have today's emergent phenomenon, but before I mention it, Basil was a little frazzled before the show, so I just wanted to let you know, buddy. We're all here. We're all pulling for you, so you're good. I know there's some green behind you.
Frazzle dazzle.
It's frazzled.
Your best buddy
dazzled, Basil. Yeah, but
so
that's not the emergent phenomenon. Mm-hmm.
We figured it out, which is the lag is so laggy, and you need to turn off your background too, Gonz.
Okay.
Because something about this recording platform, for no reason, it's never done this before, but it just started doing it a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, where if we are using our virtual backgrounds, our green screens, then and recording a podcast, because it doesn't happen when we're not recording. We are on this call for hours before we start the show, and it's totally fine.
How's that?
It's the second we hit record, we got to turn off our backgrounds, which is so sad. It's so, we try our best
well, whatever.
to have
it's
a professional show around here.
You get screaming during the lag. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we're really trying. We're really trying to do a professional show, but this ding-dang platform is not letting us put virtual backgrounds. And so we're just showing up like it's a director's cut. You're just seeing us in front of green screens.
And screaming at
an
each
abomination.
Other off time. Yeah, it's horrible. Okay, well, let me just continue on here and just mention that today's emergent phenomenon, things are getting choppy, Basil. Choppy,
That's right.
Chop. Lots of chop.
Chip choppy.
Of course, there's the infamous Capitol Hill organized protest, which we will reference today. But that's not all. Are you familiar with Micah 3, verse 3, just off the top of your head?
Yeah, and the Lord choppeth, and the Lord choppeth away.
I mean, close enough. Micah 3:3. This is King James here. It's talking about the rulers and prophets being condemned, who also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces. As for the pot and as flesh within the cauldron. You're not going to get that on Sundays, but hey, it's in the Bible. It just seems like things are getting a little testy around the world, and looks like the Bible already talked about the kinds of folks. Yeah, they're into the chopping. So just
and if you're a secular person, if you're a secular person and you've been told through the media or your friends or whatever that the Bible is all about what Christians are allowed to do, what you're supposed to do, you're misinformed, because this is not a scripture telling people to chop up bones and eat flesh. You see, there's a lot of stuff going on in the Bible that you just don't understand if you're working on the media's claim that the Bible is chock-a-block full of what you're supposed to do. Come on, folks. As the late, great Michael Heiser would say, it's literary. And I suggest if anybody out there hasn't done it yet, open up the Bible, start reading, learn as much as you can, because that'll help you understand what's going on in the world around us today. It is that biblical perspective that shines a light on all the absolute craziness that you cannot explain going on across the world. And with that, Guns, we better play that disclaimer.
Okay.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up, YouTube.
That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
I love lag.
That's right. We're good boys, YouTube. And let me give you a little bit of a rundown, Guns.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
I love lag.
Well, we're starting out, folks. There's new news on new official office hours for criminals. Don't worry. There is officially a work day for criminals. It starts at 3 a.m. and when it ends will surprise you. Then we're catching up with Haiti. Haiti, a focus of some very interesting things going on around the world for the past few years, connected in all sorts of ways to the elites and their weird plans. But it turns out Haiti might be a petri dish for another world-changing movement, and we'll discuss that. And here's a little hint. It has to do with criminals, like so much of the things that we are going to be talking about this episode. And then, of course, we all know it. We all love it. We've got Kathy Hochul sending the military in to protect the subways. From what? We will find out. Then, flippy update, Saudi Arabia's first male robot accused of touching a woman's butt. That is the headline. Stay tuned for that. The robot rights movement is about to get a little Me Too-y, is what's going to happen. Then the Pentagon coming out, letting us know the real deal, true blue truth when it comes to the U.S. and its cover-up of existence of UFOs. Don't worry, this time the Pentagon is telling the truth. We'll have a very short response to the State of the Union address, but more of a response to a response. If, in case you were hoping that we are going to do a line-by-line review of the State of the Union address, we apologize. You're going to have to go to Tucker Carlson for that. Then at the end of the show, who owns Antarctica? But first, Gons, our lead stories.
Build back better. Build back better. Build back better. We will build Babylon better. This time, a new world order.
Yeah, new world order, as always. We have a report here from, what is this? WPXI from Pittsburgh. And the headline here is Big Changes to Pittsburgh Bureau of Police Staffing are in effect. And we do have a video.
Big changes.
Yeah, big changes. We do have the video clip here. Give me 1 second whilst I pulls it up.
What was the big takeaway today?
Yeah, Susan, residents of the city will see a major change in the way police respond. They will no longer respond to calls that aren't considered in-progress emergency. That means calls like criminal mischief, theft, harassment, and most burglary alarms will all be handled by an enhanced telephone reporting unit. That means residents will file a police report over the phone. Officers will not respond unless it's an emergency. Also, between the hours of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., there will be no officers at any of the 6 stations throughout the city. Call boxes that link directly to 911 have been installed for people to use in case of an emergency. And during the overnight shift, there will be as few as 20 officers to cover the entire city. The chief said today the data supports that.
Yes, it's enough to cover the entire city in those hours when we have 8% of the time people are calling. I'm confident in the decisions that we make that it impacts this bureau and the city in a much better way than we have in the past.
Now, the chief also acknowledging today that some of these changes are due to staffing shortages. He's down to 740 officers, well below the 850 they would like to have.
Yeah, so there is a shortage.
A
in
much
staffing.
better way, Gons. That police chief, I'm not, look, I'm not trying to be mean. He seems to be trying his best.
He did pause.
Does not seem
Right
does not
before he
seem
said
to be
better.
very confident in his ability. So in case you missed it there, they are, first of all, not responding to anything that is not in an active emergency in process. So fine. Okay. I understand. It's not actually the first time that we've seen something like this. But to basically have no police on duty between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. because that's when only 8% of your emergency calls are made. And forget the exact line. We might need to play it again. But he says, this is going to better serve the people. Better serve the people by not answering the phones to the police station from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And look, I get it. I mean, you could almost get tricked into thinking that this is not, the worst thing in the world, because he makes the point, hey, only 8% of our calls come in between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. So, that was the time we could sort of afford to not answer the phone and not have police on duty. So, yeah, the problem is you're going to need, that is going to quickly go from your least amount of crime time to your most amount of crime time.
Even without actual crimes, people just taking advantage of this situation to exaggerate things. Yeah.
Instituting office hours for criminals.
Yeah.
3 a.m. to 7 a.m. is now the best time to commit crimes. Where was this? Philadelphia, Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's population being around 300,000 from what I understand. So,
and you know what's so funny too is all the criminals will stop committing crimes during the day because they know if they just wait till 3 a.m. to commit this crime, they're going to get away with it. And so you do this for a year and the stats will show that daytime crime has gone down. Look, we stopped answering the phone at night and daytime crime has gone down. I am a genius police guy, police boss man. See, my plan worked. When in reality, we're just going to be, all the criminals are just waiting till 3 a.m. to commit all their crimes. And, to say that only 8% of our calls come in between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. So we can just stop answering the phone and let all the cops go home it only sounds like a good idea in the weird, twisted worldview mindset that for those who sort of base their worldview on statistics. If you trust the science and you trust the scientists and you really base everything on data, you might think it's a good idea that they're not answering the call and there are no cops on duty at 3 in the morning because it's only 8%. But what is that 8%? The crimes that somebody would be calling at 3 a.m. is overwhelmingly going to be the worst kinds of crime.
Nothing good happens at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
You can get any call coming in during the day, bored housewife, an elder looking out the window,
Pranksters. Yeah.
stuff like that. You'll get all sorts of calls. But somebody's really only calling the cops between 3 and 7 a.m. when something horrible has happened. And now it's going to go from 8% of the calls to 0% of the calls. So that's pretty, I was going to say cool, but I can't even be exact. I can't even like satirically say it. This is horrible.
There must be something else that they're not telling us. Something, because they're saying it's going to be like a call system, and I don't know what that system is. It's probably some software collecting the phone calls or something.
Oh, yeah.
Putting it in a queue.
Phone reporting system. They're replacing it with a phone reporting system, not even like a response system. You're literally, something happens, you call the automated phone system and just sort of leave a message. And not because it'll help you in any way, but because, so then they can write it down and use it in next year's data. I mean, this is really a terrifying thing. And of course, it is simply an extension of what we've seen over the past 4 or 5 years, the defund the police, this whole movement. I think it comes as a surprise to a lot of people that it is still sort of happening. We hear about the sort of the wins where I forget where it is, but something like Austin, they tried defunding the police and it went horribly. So now they're mega funding the police. I think the same thing happened in LA. They cut it by $1 billion and then the city got out of control. So then they're mega funding the police there. And you're like, okay, we can have this idea that it didn't work and people are stopping doing it. But no, of course, there's still a large movement across the country for this defund the police, depopulate the police. Of course, nobody wants to become a police officer because, you don't get no respect, but also your hands are tied and you don't want to be the one guy standing between a crowd of 30 people trying to loot a Kohl's or something. So it's really sad, but it is an obvious sort of logical conclusion to what we've been seeing. And the only answer, of course, Gons, is going to be private police, private security. The rich, they'll have their own company they can call at 3 a.m.
I think there's 2 prongs to this, and I think there's a way to weave those two into one big thing. But one is, you touched on it, it's sort of the independent, the rise of an alternative police, basically. Everything's becoming alternative now. So in terms of private security, in terms of your own individual security, it's a shift in social values that's taking place in front of us sociologically, the pressures that this type of thing presents, because traditionally in America, we're born into a system that, hey, something goes wrong, you call the police and they come help. At the very least, they come help. And when you take that away,
the idea, at least.
The idea, that's what I'm saying. It's the idea. When you take that away, psychologically, it changes people's priorities when it comes to your own personal safety. And so that's one side of it. The other side of it is, and it might go hand in hand with this private thing, are the robots. Where are the robots? Are there robots that are, chomping at the bit to start monitoring the streets, while they let the statistics do whatever they need to do to roll out those robots? It
really is like the only option. The only option to recover from this bad choice is for them to, they could just reverse it, but they're not going to do that. No. But they're just, going to get the robot dogs. You'll get a bunch
just
of Spot.
Watching the streets,
just walking around.
Yeah.
A couple dozen of them just walking around, just reporting, I guess. You're not going to weaponize them yet, but...
Between 3 and 7 a.m. is kind of late. People getting up, going to work and stuff at like 5. So if you're getting up early, you're going to run into one of these spy dogs not spy dogs, watchdogs, I guess, robot watchdogs that are making sure the neighborhood's safe. I don't know. There's all kinds of problems there. But
Spot, yeah.
Yeah, so putting those two together, the rise of privatized robot protection might be a thing as we move forward here. So
for sure.
Into all your flippy stuff.
It's really crazy. We're going to see a lot more of it, unfortunately. And even more unfortunately, it's kind of a theme today, Gons.
Yeah, when we look worldwide here.
And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
World War III. We can fight the Third World War down there.
Yeah, it's like the Third World War. So there's clips being shared all over social media on X. This is an AP clip. I'll describe it the best I can. There's just some footage in Haiti, people running away. This is Port-au-Prince. And I mean, if you're just looking at the footage, you really don't know what's going on. It's just people running away. There's some military trucks and tanks in the distance. And yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of chaos, but not quite sure what's going on. Military men in the street holding guns. So, New York Post will help us explain what's going on here. Gang leader named Barbeque is now most powerful man in Haiti as U.S. evacuates Americans. It's come to this.
Cool gang leader name.
Barbeque. Yeah, somebody make barbecue coin. See how that does. Haiti's most notorious gang leader, known as Barbeque, may be the most powerful man in the nation, as the prime minister remains unable to return home. On Sunday, the U.S. announced that troops had evacuated Americans from the U.S. Embassy and additional forces were brought in to secure the diplomatic compound in Port-au-Prince. Jimmy Cherzier, I think that's how you say it, leader of the notorious G9 and family gang, is in command of the bulk of the gunmen stirring anarchy in the capital, and he vowed to fight until embattled Prime Minister Ariel Henry resigns. Quote, "I am ready to make an alliance with the devil, ready to sleep in the same bed as the devil," end quote. Cherzier told his supporters last week as his fighters destroyed police stations and other government facilities. Now, again, we just did that story about the police not answering calls for a few hours each day. It's a good time for, you know, the Pittsburgh barbecue, Pittsburgh version of barbecue to come in and do some damage there and maybe take over some locations if there's not a lot of resistance.
Basically turns into the Purge every night from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Seriously. Some claim that the rifle-wielding 47-year-old mobster's nickname comes from his penchant for setting his victims on fire, though he says it's an old moniker his mother gave him as a boy. He likened himself to Martin Luther King Jr. during an interview with The New Yorker last year and was previously a member of the Haitian National Police. He was expelled from the force in 2018 for alleged ties to a number of horrific crimes, including the slaughter in the La Saline slums, in which 71 people were killed, 7 women raped, and 400 homes were burned down, according to official reports. Cherzier, who denied any wrongdoing, went on to take over the G9 family, which controls many of the slums and streets of Port-au-Prince. The gang leader's influence in the capital is so large that many view him as the man who will take the reins as Henry's administration struggles to maintain order. Quote, "Unfortunately, Barbeque is now the most powerful man in Haiti," end quote. Judes Jonathas, as independent consultant based in Port-au-Prince, told The Guardian. There's some pretty powerful images here. You know, people hurt, some fires being set. Just goes on to talk about the how it's been declared a state of emergency, and the U.S. pulled out people that were at the embassy per protocol, airlifted out of there. This was interesting down here. U.S. officials have said proposals for sending a UN-authorized security force to Haiti have been unsuccessful so far, with Henry failing to secure a deal in January while in Kenya. So it's one of those interesting, because we've always talked about, that UN army, when the military arm of the UN starts policing around the world, this is sort of the police state conspiracy theory. And in this case, it's like, he couldn't secure them to come, and it didn't happen. Look what happened. Look what happened when you couldn't get the UN to restore order.
No, that's a great point. I mean, first of all, I wonder how much the CIA is paying Barbeque for, I mean, yet another destabilization of Haiti and other South American countries.
Yeah, they must have been so excited when they're like, Barbeque, give this man millions of dollars for the coup.
This is obviously a U.S. intelligence play here. We, not for nothing, like, it's on the books. We have tried this in so many South American countries. We have succeeded in many South American countries. The U.S. has been doing this since the 60s, in Cuba. And the idea that a street gang would take over the government doesn't just happen. It just doesn't happen. It happens when the U.S. intelligence agencies come in and, have a specific goal in mind.
People
and then, of course, the UN. Here's what I would be very curious. If there was a vote on this at the UN and who said no. Who was it? Was it the U.S.? Did the U.S. veto the vote to not send in the UN, to attack their good buddy Barbeque? I would almost bet on it that that's how that worked.
Yeah, they're like, no. Barbecue's our asset. We want him to take over. So no on that.
For sure, Barbecue's an asset. Is no question.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to look it up now. It'll take too long for me to do it in VR, but I would be curious because they don't give any of the details about the vote in this article, do they? They don't say like
Security Council authorizes multinational security support mission in Haiti for initial period of 1 year. Vote by vote of 13 in favor with 2 abstention. This must be a different thing. I'm finding this. This is from October 2023.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about then.
This kind of stuff takes a little digging. Make sure you find information.
Did the article not just say that the vote was against sending in the UN?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
So
the article said that.
So the article is saying the opposite of what you're looking at. That's kind of strange.
Well, if this what I found is the same thing, if it's, I don't know if it's the same thing.
Sure. So maybe they approved it in October, but then have disapproved it. I mean, that's a pretty short timeline. It's very strange.
It is weird.
And again, the only thing that makes sense is that is the way it was supposed to be. Yeah. Not only because whatever, it's sort of intelligence or national security benefit we have for the government of Haiti collapsing. Wasn't Haiti, of course, Haiti, a long storied battleground for the elites of the world. But wasn't Haiti one of the anti-vaccine countries?
I don't remember.
Or am I thinking of something else?
You might. I don't remember. I don't remember the vaccine situation. Yeah, I remember somebody in the UN talking about how they got to get him.
Because I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we having delays, or are you looking something up?
Are we still lagging? Like, what the heck is going on?
I can't tell what's happening. There was some assassinations a couple of years ago.
Real quick, we have to figure this out. Are you recording locally? Do you have the local recording going on?
Yes,
on this?
I do. Yes.
Can we turn it off?
My local recording?
Do we need this local
audition?
Recording thing? No. On StreamYard.
Oh, on StreamYard. Yeah. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, because it says you have low storage space, so that's going to be a problem. But if we don't need the local recording of our independent videos, we need to just cut it because it's ruining the connection.
While we're live? That's a good question, but I don't know the answer to it.
Sorry, folks. It is just so laggy, so bad, and I'm tired of living with this. We can't just keep doing it. Now, just for some context, folks, the StreamYard we're using, they have an option where the video can record on each person's computer independently in case you want the sort of raw video of each of you for editing purposes, but we never use it. I don't know. I mean, it seemed like a cool
just gets stored
thing to do, just to have, but it has caused nothing but problems, and it's basically crashed Gonza's computer multiple times, and it's making this show extremely laggy. So if we can turn it off, that would be great. Do we have to stop the stream to do that?
We might have to, yeah. But maybe we can just kind of keep moving along here.
Are you looking?
Now. I did look. Yeah, I was kind of poking around. It looks like the only way for me to do it is to end stream. So choices, decisions must be made.
Okay. So the leadership of Haiti refused vaccines, And yes, remember there was 3 presidents of Haiti.
Yeah, there was an
There was a
assassination.
conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they were assassinating for refusing vaccines.
That's
So
right.
Haiti was one of the countries that was not playing along. So it stands to reason that, you know, hey, I'm not saying there's any conspiracy afoot. I'm just saying if your country refuses to receive the generosity of, you know, the world vaccine establishment, bad things happen. It's just because you're making bad choices. If you don't want a gang led by a guy named Barbeque to topple your entire government and take control of your country, then you're going to want to get everybody vaccinated. It's safe, it's effective, and the vaccination keeps gangsters named Barbeque from performing a coup in your country.
Yeah. One of the things that came to my mind for whatever reason, just somewhere in the memory bank there, was the mention of Haiti being the 51st state in the United States. And I believe there have been many references to many different places as the 51st state. But one of them is Haiti, and it was Time columnist Mark Thompson who suggested that Haiti effectively became the 51st state after 2010, the Haiti earthquake, with the widespread destruction prompting a quick and extensive response from the U.S., even so far as stationing the U.S. military in Haitian air and seaports to facilitate foreign aid. So just another one of those points about maybe this is some kind of a blueprint or some kind of a early strategy, a glimpse into what they have planned, rolling out to different cities across the U.S. to as part of the balkanization going on in the United States. And speaking of which, we have this report here from Wapo, they're talking about the National Guard and talking about the UN and these other military groups coming in to sort of monitor stuff because it's getting a little rowdy out there. Washington Post has the headline, "Why National Guard Troops Are Being Deployed in New York's Subway." And I believe we have the report for that as well. And let me get that up and play it. Here we go.
Members of the National Guard searched the bags of subway riders at Grand Central. It's something many New Yorkers haven't seen since right after 9/11. And this just hours after Governor Kathy Hochul made her announcement deploying the Guard, state police, and transit cops to assist the NYPD in random screenings to combat crime on the subways.
I'm here to take action.
The aggressive move to deploy the National Guard into the public transit system comes after a subway conductor was stabbed in the neck last week and another rider was shoved onto the tracks. Incidents making up a rash of violent crimes underground since the start of the year.
There are crazy people in the subway, so I don't think it's a bad idea.
And just today,
there it is.
Another MTA conductor was hit on the head with a bottle on a subway in the Bronx.
It makes it appear that New York is the nation's biggest city. Is a place where criminals are in charge and the people who are trying to live there aren't.
Political consultant Hank Scheinkoff says because the state is in charge of the transit system, the governor had to do something drastic, especially since this is an election year where Republicans often portray blue cities as soft on crime.
The subway is the lifeline of the city. If it doesn't function, if it isn't safe, the city goes down the toilet with it.
Critics are already questioning how effective random bag searches will be in reducing crime and whether doing so will damage New York City's reputation as a place Mayor Adams repeatedly calls the safest big city in America.
Well, realistically, there's over 1,000 subway entrances. Only a small number of them will have troops at them at any given time. People can refuse to be searched. People can find a different entrance. The likelihood of this actually preventing any crime is incredibly small.
Well, the mayor says the spike in crime is largely due to a relatively small number of repeat offenders. He and the governor are hoping these random bag checks do something to deter crime.
Yay.
Yeah. I mean, that guy really wraps it up there at the end. Obviously, I mean, it's not meant to stop any crime, obviously. There's two things here. First, politically, it's obvious it's a political move for Kathy Hochul in that, she doesn't want to be seen as light on crime. I love the report, how it said, Republicans are portraying blue cities as light on crime. Look, they don't need to portray anything. Blue cities are light on crime. That's the whole point. But more than anything, what this is, because specifically it's not a very heavy presence, it's not very effective. Talk about the efficacy. They're just doing random bag checks. First of all, if you're worried about people bringing knives on the subway, they're not going to carry the knife in their bag. So you're just slowing down people's lives and you're literally not going to do anything. Or the other option is maybe they're not just looking for knives and weapons. Maybe they are specifically looking for something more terrorist oriented. Maybe, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. But more than anything,
full of vials of some substance.
More than anything, it just like in 9/11. And we remember they mentioned 9/11 in this report. They're saying, hey, New York hasn't seen this since 9/11. So it's very triggering. But now we know that almost all of the security measures taken after 9/11 are absolute theater. The TSA, the scans getting on planes, the whatever, the whole thing is called security theater, and more or less it's been admitted as such. So what you have here is security theater in the subway of New York, and not only is it just for sort of these narrative reasons, but it's also getting people it's acclimating people to the idea that U.S. military on the streets. It's not unusual to see soldiers in fatigues on the street corner. You see them every time you got on the subway. This is a classic stepping stone into some sort of occupational situation. And, I'm not going to say New York doesn't need a little bit more crime and punishment or whatever, some more criminal justice, but to go straight to, we're just putting the military in the subway. Don't worry, obey, citizen, you are safe. Of course, it's always for their safety. This is not a good sign.
It's the young woman who in the clip who said that, there's some crazy people in there, so it's not a bad idea. It's like, well, there you go. Boom, right there. You're captured into the whole thing. Just there's some she's probably right. There are some crazy people in there. But this whole thing, this whole rollout seems to be not a good sign for where things are headed when we're talking about the rest of the country.
And in the same report, they're saying people can refuse the bag checks. You can just say no.
Yeah,
if you had something in your bag you don't want to be found, you can just say no, or you can go to a different entrance. Like, it's so obvious that this will have zero effect on criminality in the subway. And so the only effect that it has is to acclimating people for a military occupation. It's literally the only thing that it does. And now combine that with Haiti and the street gang taking over the entire country, and you combine that with, Pittsburgh, no cops from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. It is a full-on setup for some sort of authoritarian police state takeover here. The narrative is so strong.
Do you remember de Blasio? Good old mayor of New York during the pandy.
Yeah,
I found a couple clips.
Cheeseburger
guy. Yeah, we often play this ISO from him.
Vaccination.
Where he was pumping the free burgers to get the jab, and but there was another part to this that I forgot about.
I'm getting a very good feeling about vaccination right this moment.
He's getting a very good feeling.
Getting a very good feeling.
Those should have been the signs, New York. But there you go. I'm thinking that the same way we had the exodus of mainstream media, turning to independent media or alternative media or whatever, just sort of the open, free, wild west of the internet. It feels like that's taking place practically at all levels of society, money, but also when it comes to these types of traditional institutions like the police force. It's kind of the get yourself armed thing makes a lot more sense in that context of like, yeah, okay, it's not just, them versus us. It's kind of like everyone's going to just defend or, fend for themselves kind of thing. So welcome to the dystopia, Basil. Mm-hmm. Awesome lag. I love lag.
Yeah,
lag.
the 5th generation warfare is strong.
Yep.
Yeah. So, dude, we have to figure this out. We cannot do the show like this. So, do we need to stop the stream and restart it and turn off local recording or what?
Can you stay on and I hop off and then jump back in? Is that possible?
Are you going to turn off?
Receives.
Are you going to turn off the local recording? Because that's what needs to be done.
I know, but I don't know if I can do it. I'm not sure how I can do it without completely stopping the stream.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
New stream.
That's what I'm wondering. If we stop the stream, can we just reinitiate it, or do we have to make new streams?
I am not sure. I am not sure how that works.
Why don't we try? Like, okay, here's the thing, guys. This is really sucky because there's a bunch of people watching, and if we have to start a new stream, we're going to lose a lot of people. But you know what? We just got to do it. We can't do the show like this anymore. I've totally lost my patience with this platform. Right. So what if we just hit end stream on this, and then I wonder if it would allow us to just start the stream again after changing that setting.
Let's try. You ready to try?
Okay, Rumble, don't worry. We will come back to Rumble. That's another great reason to watch on Rumble, guys, is because Rumble we can keep up the same link. The same link, canarycry.live. You will still be able to watch the show there. I'm not going to send out a new text message and stuff. So if you're watching now, we're going to try to restart the stream, and we're hoping that it works and it just pops right back up for you. But if it does not pop back up, there will be another live video going. I really apologize to everybody for this, but it's the only option, and I'm very unhappy with this new platform. And it just suddenly started happening. So I don't know. There's bigger conversations to have, but let's try to get this stream clean.
All right, here we go. Audio version's probably going to be just fine. So I'm going to hit end stream. Ready, set, go.
Should turn it